With the first pick, the San Antonio Spurs select Victor Wembanyama.
Imagine Victor Wembanyama coming into the league, and he's one of the most dominant players to ever play.
Defensive impact. Nice rim run and the punch.
Yet he never wins an MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, or All-NBA award. Well, thanks to load management, that is now a distinct possibility, because starting next year, no one wins any award without playing at least 65 games. I'm Dennis Sheehy. I'll tell you how load management started, who's to blame, and what the future holds.
Do you think load management is a major problem for the NBA?
If you look at a 65-game threshold over the course of a full season, of the top 50 scorers in the NBA this year, 27 failed to play in at least 65 games. Compare that to 2013, just 10 years ago, only 7 failed to play in 65. Is this happening in other sports? Let's look at the NHL. Of the 36 positional All-Stars this year, they missed a combined 162 games. 24 NBA All-Stars missed a combined 303. So what's happening? Is the pace of play so high? Is hand checking, the lack of hand checking, causing player injuries? Well, let's look at the removal of hand checking in 2005, 10 years before and 10 years after. There's no real increase in pace of play. Pace of play really goes up in 2014. What happened then was the league reduced the statistical number of games required for scoring, rebound, assist, stat titles from 70 to 58. It had been at 70 from 1968 till 2013. They lowered it in 2014 and the pace of play went up, but the player injuries really didn't. So what caused pace of play to go up? Well, they really elongated the schedule so there were fewer back-to-backs, there were less 5 games in 7 nights. Player injuries and load management really only happened over the last 3 or 4 years. So if we look at a sampling of the 24 players selected to the All-Star team, we really see load management take off over the last 3 years. So what's causing that?
Ibaka trying to stay with Durant, knocks it away, and Durant slipping. Durant goes down holding his leg. Ibaka goes up.
Basically with the Kevin Durant injury, where he famously tore his ACL in the 2019 NBA Finals, there was an air of mistrust which kind of grew between players and teams and the medical staff. Players got their own medical staff. They'd start leaning on them for judgment when they should and shouldn't play. So players started sitting out games. But what was really pivotal was the NBA sports writers then started handing awards and All-NBA honors to players who weren't playing in the games. From 2014 till 2020, there were 2 All-NBA awards given to players who didn't play in at least 58 games. From 2020 to 2024, there were 12 All-NBA awards given to those players. It basically sent the message of, hey, when I play, I do amazing things. But if I don't play, and you imagine the amazing things I would do, you can still give me the accolades for those things that I didn't do that you imagine I would have done. So to the NBA and NBA Players Union's credit, they stepped in and they said, players, teams, writers, none of you can be trusted. You're all playing 65 games going forward. And I'm all for it. Now you'll see people who say, I don't like the 65 game rule, because what if Giannis Antetokounmpo plays 63 games and someone else plays 66 games? The wrong player will get the award. Just because you're a star player doesn't mean the award's your birthright. You have to earn it. And you'll get NBA coaches, Steve Kerr for example, will say, hey, if we play a shortened season, maybe people won't miss as many games. Well, in 2012, 20, and 21, the NBA played shortened seasons, but there really wasn't any lowered games missed those seasons. NBA All-Stars still missed over 10% of league games. And you might say, what does this matter? Well, over 22% of league revenue comes from regular season ticket sales. If fans figure out what players already know, it's only a matter of time before they'll stop coming to games. And while I love the new 65 game minimum, I think it's gonna basically erase load management and it's not gonna be an issue going forward. But the one thing is, the one guy who could really use it, 7'5" or 6" Victor Wembanyama, you don't want to force that pressure on him. We really want to enjoy what he can do, and we don't want to see him pushing through 65, 70 games, increasing his injury risk. And while this will make it more challenging for Victor Wembanyama, I love that the league and the Players Union have effectively said, if you want a legacy, you're going to have to play through the regular season to earn it.